Welcome back to the Halo Infinite Grifball podcast. Snowplex here, and I want to start off by saying I apologize for the delay on this episode. We attempted to record a mid-season episode a couple times, and it just fell through. So I just figured I would make it a mid-season plus postseason special. And don't have Mav today as a co-host, but I brought on a good friend of mine, perfect to Denise, I should say, or Risky. How you doing, buddy?
Yo, was good, was good.
And for our
It's
special guest,
NBPD now.
for sure. And for our special guest, we have TCT Avenger, the captain of Neuralink.
Yo,
How you doing today, man?
Fucking feeling special. How you doing today, No Flex?
Oh, doing good, doing good. Got a hell of an episode here because we definitely have two in one sort of. But I just want to go ahead and start out by saying Avenger probably should have not even played in this season, much less wanted to be a captain of the team. Because I'll let him give you all the details about this, but this man's literally had brain surgery and was recovering from brain surgery right before the draft. So I'll just go ahead and give you the mic here, Avenger, so you can go into that. And garlic bread, too, of course.
Oh yeah, garlic bread content. Nah, this it's really like nothing too much to it. Like even Evil said that. He said, honestly, man, you got a lot going on. You should probably step down from captain or just not even play. I was like, damn, dude, I got like nothing else going on in my life, so I need something to kind of look forward to and put my brain on. And that's kind of what I was doing is just try to, mentally focus because I didn't want to sit here in bed all day and play fucking Scrabble. So got on the good old Grifball, drafted my team, and realized that I was gonna have to really pull my weight if my team was gonna do anything. So it feels great getting back to where everybody thought I was gonna be, I guess, because I was a little pissed that I didn't get the first overall pick in the draft. It's like I thought I was doing bad. Then it's like you get your brain cut into. I played one game of late league, even with Evil, and Evil went like +10, and I went like -20, and they didn't move it at all. And I was still at the second pick, and I about fucking lost it. And luckily, Ace didn't sign up for the season because I was not gonna lie, really, really wanting to draft Ace and draft a team based around him. And I know I saw he said he wanted to run, so I really wanted to make Ace runner. And I've always wanted to have a season with somebody like him or Crusader or somebody that's pretty solid, but never pans out like that, I guess. But in the end, got a solace because homeboy went for snipes, and I'm pretty happy with the outcome. Been really enjoying my team. I mean, look how far we got this season. Hopefully, we make it to the finals this Sunday.
so what you're saying is that Evil was afraid to play you, so he told you that you should probably not play.
um, no, I think Evil was afraid of Mungo Pungo falling to me and doing the KD combo, and he took that from me. I'm not gonna lie, like real facts, when he did that, it definitely stressed me out that I had my second official seizure post surgery. Like when I was like waiting for it, it was the longest time, right? And it was like Zim or Spanks pick or something like that. And it was like towards the very end of the draft. And it was like you got like 30 minutes a pick or some shit. And I remember it was like 10 minutes in and he's like, dude, I got like 20, 15 minutes left. I was so salty. I was like, damn, dude, everybody else here's got a whole list. And like you don't know who you want yet. And then Evil was like, hurry up and make your pick so I could piss everybody off already. And this was all like just random talk. Like it didn't really like mean anything. And I don't think he was trying to really do anything necessary by it. But then when that he made his pick and then Evil immediately sent Mungo Pongo, man, I about seized right there. That shit had me so stressed. So shout out to the homeboy Mungo, garlic bread Pongo.
It's
But I
funny.
gotta hide
It's
Joe Kids instead, and thanks to you, NoFlex, you made that happen.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny that you put necessary in there right before the end of that. I thought that was kind of funny. Necessary evil. Yeah, get it. Uh, I think it was big pressure on you two this season as well. Of course, all the real life stuff you have going on, but after last season, you made it all the way to the championship. And I know you're trying to get back there, you're well on your way. Hyde has been huge. Like obviously he started out the season a little slower because he hadn't played and all that, but he's really stepped it up. I'm glad. I'm glad me and you could help encourage him and keep him wanting to play and whatnot. So it's good. It's good to see him doing good.
Yeah, he loves to play.
That man, stay on late league.
We're a group of eclectic people in our community, but we definitely vouch for each other when it matters, I guess, and turn on anybody on the drop of a hat. So there's that too. Well, I guess I'll keep the outline moving here, and since it's a midseason and postseason episode together, we can just briefly touch on the regular season. The season got off to a quick start, especially for the admin team, because we had a trade request even before the season started. Chemical wanted to trade Sab, and he wanted to trade Sab for Cosmos, and then he wanted to trade Sev for a Squirrel. I believe that's what it was. Because it was Cosmos and Squirrel for Sab and Sev, and it was definitely a crazy way to start me being an admin again. It definitely threw me right into the frying pan. So that was a pretty crazy way to start the season.
Yeah, it was crazy for me too because like I didn't really know what the fuck is going on. I mean, this was my first season back, 2018, and so I'm expecting to like run bench, and I'm not really too sure what's going on. I'm in a Discord with people I've never seen before. And I'm like, well, they're probably not gonna be my teammates anymore because I'm gonna be teaming with Sab and Sev, and then the trade didn't go through, and I was like, well, I wonder if this is gonna be awkward because it's like, you're trying to trade people and like everybody's in agreement, but then it doesn't happen. It's like, you know, I was kind of under the assumption that like, I wouldn't be teaming with Cosmos and Squirrel for the whole season, especially because like it just got off to such a slow start. We were losing like every scrim, every game. But then, there were some moments where we pick it up, like we won the rush. But yeah, I did not expect for it to turn out the way it did. That's for sure.
That team was really good, honestly. I think if Chemical ended up with Cosmos and Squirrel, Cosmos and Squirrel would have had more of a consistent season than they did on both the teams they ended up on. Ultimately, I think the whole trade idea was stupid. Them ending up with Spank was probably worked out for the best for him, and especially for Zem because he kind of ended up where he wanted to be, and he got in the playoffs, won a match against the number 2 seed. So I think it worked out well for everybody. Hopefully, Cosmos gets a chance to shine next season for sure.
Yeah, I think everybody definitely got the positive side of the trade and stuff, and I think it's definitely done well for Chem to not make that move because he has a very good roster, number 1 overall seed. When it came to me talking to Cosmos about it at the end, he had said he kind of felt bad, and I was like, no, you shouldn't feel bad that it didn't work out. I said honestly, we were just like really inconsistent, like when it came to like the fourth situation, because it's like I was still learning this game. I mean, I'm still even learning it now, but dude, like when I was getting in those first like games, like I was dropping like neg 40 bombs, getting like maybe 10 kills max a game because I didn't know how the fucking timing works at all in Infinite. So it was definitely a learning curve for me. And then it's like it wasn't really working out with Aware either because I guess from when I talked to Aware about this, he was saying that the game type had changed and that he couldn't really adjust to it. And they were having issues there. And then we're just having some personality clashes, and it's nothing, personal. I won't really get too deep into it, but like there was just some personality clashes like amongst the roster where I was just like, this it's a good team, but I think it just doesn't work under these circumstances. So that's why we ended up seeking the trade.
Yeah, I was on the other side of that on Spank's team, and our first game of the season was against Avenger, and we we got out to a quick 3-0 lead, and then we just, or either 3-0 or 3-1 with pass plays, and then they just locked us down after that, beat us 5-3. And then, of course, we played Kim's team and lost to them twice. Pretty good games. I believe 5-2, 5-3 for the games. So I feel like if we would have had more time together, we probably would have started winning. But I know that other parties wanted to be moved around. And look, man, I've been traded. I've been contracted without being told. I've been sat on the bench. Hey, man, I've been through it all. So I know Spank did want to get rid of me and trade me, but he wanted what he wanted, and Zim said, if you want that, then you got to give me no plex, even though you don't want to. Because wise man once told me that a true negotiation or a deal only happens when two people feel they're losing something, and that's what I've always been told, and I think it makes sense. Um, and I think it's also funny that I lost out on 3 games because we'd only played 3 games, and y'all have already played 6. Or 4 guys, 1 ball, already played 6 games when I joined. So technically, I missed out on 3 games. I didn't get to play all the teams, except for subbing, I think. Whenever I subbed, I believe I ended up playing all the teams. So it was definitely a big, fast start to the season. But from what everybody says, it's been pretty balanced teams, and so that's what we like to see, a lot of playoff contenders.
Yeah, I think there was just a pretty big skill gap. When you go from you know, the top of the seats to the bottom, like there was definitely a big skill gap. And then I mean, at one point there was going to be a potential like 3-team tie between 4 guys in ball, Spank's team, and Pop Tarts, which was kind of interesting. Definitely made things pretty exciting. Um, Ultimately, 4 guys in ball, us, we made it at the very last game of the season. Um, but yeah, I think it was definitely interesting how we didn't have any wins, and then that trade happened, and then it's like we both immediately went into playoff contention, and it was like literally down to the wire, where it's like if we would have lost that last game, we would have had to play an additional regular season game between us and Spank to see who was going to make it to the playoffs. It was pretty interesting how that trade literally changed everything for the bottom of the standings.
I think the centerpiece there is Master Squirrel because they had him, running a lot, and I think this dude totally panned out better as a tank at the end of the day, and that was clashing a lot with Zem. And then he switched to Spank's team, and then who was it? TJ started doing a lot of the running, and that wasn't much help either because he was kind of free as well. And it doesn't really help when the runner's losing the ball. So I think that's a big thing there that kind of got them this season.
I think the thing with Spank's team, even after the trade, is that they didn't really have much of a reliable fourth. From what I was told, that JP was really good at the beginning of Infinite, and then as the season's gone by, he's kind of dipped down in quality. And then,
Yeah, he was solid when my first season 2. Like,
yeah,
I think way better than he was this season.
yeah, So that's exactly like I was told that he was a lot better, and he wasn't really doing too hot. And I had told him, I was like, you guys are a pretty good team, but like you just don't really have like a consistent, reliable fourth. And I'd actually ran a few games with Spank to help them scrim after the trade had happened, just because I was trying to get more games in. And Spank was like, "Dude, you're the answer to to all of our problems." He was like desperate. Like he was like, "Dude," he's like, "You think if I asked him if I could trade for you that he'll say yeah?" And I was like, "I don't think so, but you can go ahead and try." Um, I definitely think that if I would have been on that team, it would have been an interesting turnout, to say the least. But I think that was ultimately what was their issue at the end of the day, is that they just couldn't have a reliable fourth to really maintain that solid top 3 of the lineup.
Yeah, definitely needed competition for sure. That's what I did with Hyde myself. I threw J-Bomb in our first game, and I was like, I'm not starting Hyde, and I wanted him to kind of get a feel for it into the season, and really try, because he was, I don't know, he was kind of being Hyde, and all of them that know him, and his head's in the right place now. So I thought like that'd be a good way to start the season. And lo and behold, it was they were starting Panther Lily first, who I thought was their starter. Turns out he was the backup. And so I had started Hyde in that game first, and we had won pretty consistently good, and I don't even think it was close at all. And then J Bomb came in, and we just got absolutely killed, and that was when they had Endasis in. And Panther Lily was really good, honestly. I felt like he was a lot harder than Endasis, but when they had Endasis in, it definitely felt like a harder game. But from that point on, Hyde was ready for the season.
Yeah, he just needed some time to get warmed up. I like to think I definitely brought some good vibes and energy to my team whenever we got traded. I mean, I tried to for Spank. But it's like PD was saying, we just couldn't figure it out. I don't know what it was. We scrammed and we showed some signs of life, but then we would get really inconsistent, spread out and stuff like that. But
Where was Ganked?
he scrimmed with us, but he never played. TJ, we had our original lineup: me, Spank, Gingy, TJP. Whenever we were whenever we played, and it seemed to work our best whenever TJ ran or whenever he flanked, and Gingy or someone else ran it. It really is Gingy because I hate the ball. I have irritable bomb syndrome, so I don't want
Oh
that
yeah, no,
shit.
Gingy loves to run. He'll always find a way to run.
But I think it's a real good testament to the spread out talent of the season whenever you have top six teams or above 500 and within 5 wins of each other. So it's a lot of close, a lot of close records in there. But I believe Spoon's team didn't they start off like 7-0, 7-0
Oh
or 8-0, so that they started off with a bang, but then ran into some problems. Evil's team they started off really hot and started to waver a little bit towards midseason and the end of the season, but they were still the number 5 seed, and then of course your team killed it. Your Neuralink, y'all are just really, really good and cohesive as a unit. I mean, you're all good defenders. With Hyde picking it up with his killing power and whatnot, y'all are just really annoying to play against. And then you got Crazy Guys 2.0 with what's changed with them, really. I mean, you got Ducky, who's basically Smurf but with more experience, and then they got Epic Beast to run instead of having Grunt Padres or fourth. So really, that's the only difference. Tommy and Ace Spence are the same. So you got that, and then you got Swampy Griff
So what
Bussy.
you're trying to say is crazy guys never had a chance to make the championship. They're destined to make it to the first round, and that's it.
Me too, apparently. 3 seasons in a row, I played Shrek every fucking time in the first round, lost every time. Cursed. It ain't happening. Shrek's my kryptonite, I guess. But that team is interesting because they're kind of like the two ship teams last season merging together because they got Shrek, Infection, Hells, and then they have Grunt as a fourth. And Trespass has been a very serviceable fifth for them this season when they've needed him. He's really improved a lot. And then of course, the number one, the King, as Kim's team, they've just they are the epitome of cohesion. Like I just feel like they're really good. They work well as a unit. They're all just crazy defenders, and they complement each other very well. Okay, I'll shut up for a while now.
I think Kim just drafted so well. Like
Something about
with
the
his
middle
position.
draft. It's just kind of like things fall to you. Because
Yeah,
V1, it
I
wasn't
mean,
Cosmos originally, but then you see a name like Sab and everybody else is saying it. You can't pass it up, so he went with it, and then he wanted to second guess himself. But I mean, look where it got him.
oh yeah. I mean, I'm not entirely sure how much things would have changed, with Cosmos in that spot. You know, I think Cosmos, dude, he was just so fun to play with. Like that's really my guy. This guy has like so much potential. Um, but I
Oh,
think
dude, he's a great
the,
dude.
the, yeah, and just overall just a great dude. But like Sav has just been playing this game for so fucking long, and you know, I think it was the right thing to do for him to pick Sav. Um, I mean, yeah, Chemical just got really lucky with his draft position. Um, that he was able to land Sav because I think Sav definitely should have been top five
Yeah,
pick.
I looked at Sav, and I even talked to him, but at the time I was I think the original combo I was shooting for was like Sab Gingy, and was a vision I had. And I kind of ran it by him, and it didn't work out with his schedule. So then I was like, okay, well then I started looking at other things, and that's when I decided, all right, fuck it. Like all these other people, they think they should go first. I think Solace is better than all of them. I played this dude in playoffs. Dude was like insane to kill in a best of three series. I mean, they had a dude that went like negative 70 in the playoff game. And it's kind of, and they almost had us beat. We had to come back and beat them on Shrek's team. Shout out to Shrek, Snipes, Cosmos. But so I had to get him, and then you start leaving other names on the board. So I take Solace second. You know, you got Snipes going first. That left A Spence, Sab, and Novice all ahead. All those names go. So I knew eventually I had a chance to land a name like Cosmos, Fancy, Katie, Gingy. Luckily, I got Katie.
Dude, Katie is great. Honestly, I think that was like such a great pick for you in that position. Like, I know probably maybe in the preseason somebody probably would have suggested you pick somebody else, but like, dude, Katie makes fucking plays, dude. Like, she's a fucking beast. So like, I think the combination of her and Solace, and then like you got Nick who can just focus on just being that annoying fucking tank, like just focus on slaying and that's it. Like it's everybody can play their roles extremely well. So
Oh yeah, Solace
like
loves it,
kudos to
man.
you.
Nick's like a son to him, man. Solace is like a good old dad. He always sits there and tries to hype him up, make him feel good. And then he goes out there trying to make him proud. It's got a great chemistry going on. Kate's just a baller. Hopefully she wins runner of the season, man. She's always getting snubbed.
Well, I think she's in a better position this season for sure. Her and Sab had a good season last season. Um, they ended up getting the first round, but yeah, she's a quarterback out there. Definitely runs a team. Got some streakiness to her game for sure. Of course, the passing offense and all that there. I like the spiciness too, for sure. I've heard y'all's comms. She's definitely there to get y'all hyped and get your heads into the game. I think everybody's excited to see Hyde playing well for sure. That's definitely a good one. Solace is no big surprise after playoffs last season, and Avenger, you've turned it the fuck up. That Neuralink definitely working. You can try to hide it all you want, but we know you got that shit. But
Fucking motivation, man. Rub dirt in the wound.
oh yeah, man, getting ranked last place, we know, and community rankings, we know the effect that had. I mean, look at Mungo. He had a team called eighth place, and they won when they were
Oh
ranked that
man,
way.
I
So
got dude. That I had novice was like tumor checks out. I was like, this fucking dude, man. And I'll be honest, the one that really like turned me up, where I was like, I'm not gonna fucking suck this season, and like if I do, it's not gonna be like that bad. I'm gonna mungo suck, which means I'm gonna win big games, and still if I'm gonna go negative. And that was when I think Solace was saying, "Oh, our team tanking's not there," and I said something along the lines, just like, "Oh, it'll get there" and all that. And he said, "No, I don't think it's ever gonna get there." No, dude, that shit hurt. It's like my fucking heart ripped in two, and I was like, "All right, I'm fucking getting in there every day now that I can." And
Yeah,
I'm getting there, but I just want to be like these other people, man. They don't play at all, and they hop on, and they ball. It's amazing.
yeah,
So I
you've
won't say
definitely been
Neuralink
in
yet.
late
We'll
league a
get
lot.
there.
You've definitely been in late league a lot. Same with me. I think you've just been trying to get better at this game. And I
I
definitely have
think
been
you've
seeing the
improved a lot,
improvements.
dude. Like I said, I would never accept you as a sub option.
Damn,
Like
who would have thought?
too much experience, man. It's
yeah,
Yeah,
just it
that
only
is
takes so
true.
long of figuring it out. Like you really do got to figure it out. There's a point I was going against you, man. You just kept being passive at a point and figuring out your range, and that shit would get me heated.
you got all the mechanics and you got all the awareness and you got all the positioning down from the previous games, like Indices. And that's Angel 9001. He came back and played. Same thing with Panther Lily. You have all the mechanics it's all built in. It's just learning the nuances of Infinite and adapting to the game. And you just gotta believe. Man, that's important.
Yeah.
You just gotta
That's
believe,
awesome.
man. Uh,
Biggest thing in
You just gotta
Infinite
believe,
is
bro.
just accepting the connection. Don't let it get to you and jump. jump all the fucking time and don't let the connection get under your skin.
Some of the things in Infinite though are just like mind-boggling that this is the fucking game that we play because there's some of the shit that should be happening isn't, but part of the
Hashtag
game.
Halo
I
5.
feel like it's we've always complained about the game, and then like I remember people complaining about Halo 5, and people are like, man, if it had crossplay, we would totally go back. And people complained about Halo 4, but some people still want to go back to Halo 4. I would go to Halo 4.
Fucking nostalgia,
But
man. It's a disease.
Well,
it
yeah,
really is.
I'm gonna go ahead and move it along to playoff predictions to the next part we got here. So playoffs this season have already been better than last season's playoffs. And last season's playoffs were crazy, a lot of drama there, but every series that we've had so far has went down to 3 games. So Swampy Griff Bussy over 4 guys, 1 ball in 3 games, and that's my and your team, PD. So that was a crazy series. I was honestly shocked we took the first game from them. We came out pretty strong, and it was we took a game from them, but they obviously battled back, and they were really tough to take advantage of in game 2 and game 3. It seemed like Infection got a lot more annoying. He glues their team together very well. And Grunt Padre seemed to step it up quite a bit too, because I had to try to kill him on the edge quite a bit, and he made it very hard. So that was definitely a good series. And then of course Avenger Neuralink they beat Wang Industries in 3 games, and then the most recent one we had Bad Intentions over Crazy Guys 2.0 also in 3 games. So it's definitely been a drama filled playoffs thus far with a lot of 4-4 games.
Yeah, that's kind of how playoffs go. It's a completely different beast. Like it can be a little bit unpredictable too.
That fucking feeling, man, of just knowing like you're probably not gonna play Grifball for the rest of till like next season if you don't win this game. Especially when it gets to 4-4, man. And when it hits you right in the face, you're just like, don't lose the ball or get the ball back. Like whoever scores next, it's over.
Oh yeah, like it literally like you get into a position where like all it takes is one wrong move, and like your whole season is done. Like especially like in those 4-4s or when you're down and the other team's already at 4. Like it's definitely a tough position to be in, and brings everybody's emotions out. I think like playoff Grifball is always going to be very entertaining to watch because it's just like everybody's like truly like give a shit and they're like putting their all in it because it's like at the end of the day like somebody's going home. You're not playing for the rest of the season.
That's when it shows. I feel like because everybody in Grifball's got some sort of an excuse, and then like right then that's just when it's all fucking bets off. Put it all on the table.
Yeah, for real. And yeah, like going to like over like the like Hell's team. Like I didn't play in the series, but I know that by playing Infection in late league a lot, like that dude, he really is the glue for that team because dude, he is like so fucking annoying to play against, especially when he's getting the grapple. The dude is like a freaking genius. He knows how to play. Like he knows how to put himself in the proper position to get the ball back, to just be annoying in the spawn. Like I remember just watching the games and like the playoff series, and the majority of the time I was like, dude, fucking Infection this, Infection that. Like, dude, the beast.
Yeah, man. Then you got Shrek too, who in my opinion is like a top 5 player. Highly underrated, very highly underrated. Man can run like grapple god. He uses repulsor well, but grapple god highly not talked about. Tank
Oh
god
yeah,
feel bad because I made him run last season because I was too much of a bitch to run the ball and couldn't hold on to it. So he couldn't use his tanking power as much as we should have. But shout out to him, man. That dude is severely S tier. Puts the S in Shrek.
Yeah, I definitely know this Shrek or Els or whatever. I just mentioned Grunt and Infection, but they're that's the star players of that team for sure. Hells to be successful in this game, I believe you have to be an aggressive runner. It's really hard to be passive with the ball and wait for a tank in because of how the spawns are. Aggressive runners definitely have a lot more impact on this game just for getting those risky punches and going in. And then, yeah, Shrek is absolutely. He can say all he wants. He's not a top 4 player in the league, but he is, and he can have bad availability and all that. I told him during the offseason, I was like, nobody's gonna give a fuck about your bad availability. They're still gonna fucking draft you and build their team around your schedule because that's how good you are. I told him that.
Yep.
I said players have done it before. I've told him all the stuff that players said to captains. Don't bid on me or I'll quit. I mean, we've had some shit over the years. That's for sure.
Well, don't be me and pick up people that don't want to play with you, because then you'll end up having to trade your whole team away, like I did like almost 10 years ago.
I don't know why people play if they are just gonna probably quit.
Yeah, I feel like it's inevitable. It's extremely inevitable that people just, I don't know. They sign up and I'm just like, I don't even know why you signed up, but it happens every season. You always have like your characters.
Ancient garlic bread curse.
Garlic bread. The Evil and Ducky series was really crazy too because Evil won game 1, and then in game 2 they were up 4-0, and then Crazy Guys came back and won that game 5-4. So it was like one more goal and putting it away. But I think our stronger testament.
No. Evil came back and almost won 5-4. They were already down 4-0, but Evil almost came back and won the series instead of going to a game 3, but they lost after making it 4-4.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He was winning 4-0, and they came back and won, didn't they? In game 2, I remember watching it. It was a 4-0 comeback for sure.
Yeah, no, I thought you were saying that Ducky came back from being down 0-4.
In the second game, yeah, I thought Evil's team was winning 4-0 in that game.
No,
and they came back and won.
They were down 0-4, and then they came back, tied at 4-4. Then they lost, and then they went to game 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I just meant. They were down 0-4 and they made it into a 4-4, and then that's kind of what I meant to say. So
somebody choked.
Yeah, either way, it was crazy that all the playoff series.
Somebody boss tycoon the game 2. What happened?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I wish they did it to game 1. I had money on it. I walked away with barely any winnings.
Griff tokens. Griff bucks. But I guess that will bring us to the next part of the semifinals that will be on Sunday streaming. The first matchup will be Swampy Griff Bussy against Bad Intentions. So Hells versus Evil. They definitely have teams comps that are a little different, but I find that they match up well, and it's really hard to say that any other series won't be 3 games since we've already had nothing but 3-game series. So I'm just going to say they're all going to probably be the max amount of games, most likely. But boy, it's really tough to predict that series because they both are teams that had to claw out of a deficit and then win, or go back and forth and then win.
In the final.
What's that?
I just see Hells in the final. I don't know what it is. Hells just wins all the time, it seems.
Yeah, they have a good team.
I'm shooting for Mungo, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to say probably Hells 2-1.
Well, this is the thing that makes this game kind of hard to predict. That, Evil most likely will not be present during this series. And so, that's obviously been their main starting lineup. And that's no doubt to Priest, because I played against him a week ago. Dude's really good. He's pretty solid. And, everybody knows the good old Priest routes. That's a thing. Yeah. So if, it's really going to be up to Priest to really hold everything together, filling in for Evil to get them to the finals.
I think Mungo runs if Priest plays.
I could see that too.
I think Evil is actually going to get to play because I think the matchups are going to get switched, and Hells and Evil are going to play first, so that way Evil can be on the play because he can play early but not later. That's what they've been talking about. So
What
Evil
about the
should
championship though?
Evil should be there, but in the championship maybe not because he probably won't be there for that. But I think they wanted to try to switch it around so he can at least be playing the semifinal. But if they advance, I assume that he won't be there for the ship, and then Priest will have to play. So
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Evil definitely got good with his draft position and was able to obviously pick up like a really good backup. So I don't think there's too much to worry about here. But I mean, it is a tough call. I definitely would like to see Evil's team advance, but I don't know. L's infection, Shrek, like that's a brutal combo for trio, honestly. So I think I'm gonna go with Hell's 2-1.
yeah, it's kind of hard to not say that. It's tough for sure, but I just feel like between Shrek and Hells, they've both had some deep playoff runs and stuff like that, and I just feel like they'll meld well together and overpower that Mungo magic. I think it's still going to go 3 games. And they're probably going to be close, but yeah, I would say Hells in 3 games as well. And
Hey,
then
fingers crossed that rumor at beginning season of implosion happens and they get the Mungusi and Evil takes it to the ship. Because I'm not gonna lie, I would hate to play against Hells in the ship, especially if they're that hyped.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. That's like I said, it's a tough series to call, but I think there's just more. There's more success, like successful players on Hell's team versus Evil, just based on the previous seasons. So I don't know. As
I
well,
don't
like I
know
said, as
though.
much
I
as I
mean,
would
I
love
mean,
to see.
Fancy man, he can go off. Something about him.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think the issue with them is that like Snipes and Fancy, they're very good slayers. Like they're very good tanking and stuff, but it's like I don't know what there's not much mold that holds them together. When it comes to like Mungo and Evil, because sometimes they can be a little inconsistent. But um, I don't know. Well, we'll have to see. But like I said, as much as I want to see Evil and Mungo head to the final, like I said, I think definitely
It's definitely gonna
Hells.
be possession for sure. Who's gonna
Yeah,
not lose it over a stupid play?
yeah, because that's the thing. Like Hells rarely is dropping the ball
Yeah,
over
he'll throw it
some
back.
like yeah, and
And
I
I feel
feel
like
like
Evil will force the play more.
oh yeah, Evil forces the plays a lot. Sometimes Mungo does too. Like in the games that I played against them, which this season, which were probably my favorite games all season. Um, so I think Hell's a little bit more protective when carrying. So that's why I just think it's going to be most likely going to be Hell's.
And you got
Fourth
three
quarter.
runners on that team practically. I mean, Infection probably would lose the ball the most out of the three, but I mean, he could still put the ball in. I played with Shrek. I know he could do it. Hells as it is. So, I mean, any three of them can get the ball. And I
yeah,
mean, you got what? Snipes, sure, not Shrek. Snipes, Pungo, Evil, and hell, even Fancy, man. That was the first impression when I watched Fancy play when I came back in the league. This dude got like 6 punches in a row. It can make anything happen.
I think I think the opposite about what you were saying. I disagree about Hells and Evil. I feel like Hells is going to push the issue more, and Evil's going to be the one that's more reserved, waiting for a lane to go in and wait for a 1v1. When we played them in our playoff series, we definitely had some good defense, and it was turnover city in our playoff series, not playoff cities. uh,
Playoff City beat.
uh, we definitely turned the ball over a lot, definitely more than Hell's team did, but they seem to turn it over too. So I would say Evil's done a really good job anchoring his team and running. It's not like he's always been known as a runner. It's just something he did a lot in late league over the off season because I mean he didn't run last season. TJP did. Uh, he was more of an off tank, I believe Evil was, but this season he just kind of with his team he just accepted, hey, I'm gonna run the ball and what is he, third in goals or something like that? Or he's top five in
I think
goals, I
he's like,
know.
I think he's leading overall in goals or something. He's either second or top in goals,
So
and goal and assists. He's second if he's not top in goals.
yeah, I think that's a big deal, honestly.
Oh yeah, especially when you're not even, used to doing it.
Yeah, I
But
couldn't
look
do
at
it.
his thinking line.
True, true. And he's got Mungo in there too to meld him. He's got a damn good tanking line, but you know, that doesn't make running exactly easy, depending on the
Oh
players
yeah,
you have. Still
that's
hard.
why I go back to what I was saying before, who's gonna make kind of like the mistakes and shit. And I really hope that they play on their A game and take them out because I really don't want to play against Hells. But I think Hells just has that edge more. Somebody who's just gonna make that punch, make the play, make the read. Just already have a feeling what's gonna happen before it happens, so they're not gonna risk their life overextending a play. Just trying to see like, hey, is this gonna happen? When somebody else, has been in that situation, they know like, all right, this is exactly what's gonna happen. They're gonna spawn here, they're gonna get the kill, I can throw it and get this in. Or just take the run route. And I think that's what Hells can do really well. I don't want to go against it personally. That's even if I go to the
he's living on a
finals, no
prayer.
jigs.
He's living on a prayer right now. He's like, I just anybody but Hells.
Dude, I
Well,
don't want to lose the Hells 2 seasons in a row because that's who I lost to last season.
yep, that was a
Nice.
championship game. Well, as hard as that game was to predict, the other side of the bracket is harder, in my opinion. A Neuralink versus Chemical Imbalance. Your teams are built quite similar. Maybe not the same, but you kind of have the same setup. You got your big piece in Solace. You got your runner in KD. You got your off tank and Hyde, and then you're kind of the anchor Avenger. Whereas Sab is lead tank on that team. Kim is the off tank. D-Cleek is your glue, and then Seb's the runner. So your teams are really stacked up similar. I feel like you match up pretty well. Um, I, this is a really hard series to predict. Like I said, even harder than the other one. But Kim has been
I
a
got
Well,
perfect
okay.
information for this. This is a good
Well,
time for a dab too. Tell me, can you guys hear this? Is this loud?
no, I can hear it.
You can hear it? Is it loud?
Oh, hear it or hear you? I can hear you.
No, can you hear the flame?
no.
All
No.
right, no, let's do this then. Let's talk about it.
It could
Well,
be
this is
yeah, it can be edited out.
no.
No, there's nothing to edit
No.
out. No, no, I was just making sure like there wasn't like a loud noise over the mic.
Oh no, I can hear it. You're totally
Damn,
good.
this AI Turtle Beach crap thing really is next level.
But going so this series, okay. This is another thing. Is Cleek is not playing in the series, right?
Yep. Nope.
Yes.
I denied Mungo Pongo. I denied who's
Me.
the other official sub?
Me.
No, it
You you,
wasn't you.
you
They
did
didn't
not
use you as a sub.
you denied me.
No, it was Grunt. It was Mungo, Grunt. No, no, no. He put Mungo in because I said, do you want to use somebody else instead of Noplex? Because Noplex isn't legal. Then he said Mungo, so I said, okay, I didn't deny Grunt and Mungo, and we took Aware.
Yeah, I think I got a message. I think either yesterday or I forgot when it was. From him, he was like, "Do you want to play
Oh,
for
they never
Cleek?" And I
asked
was,
me about you though.
well, I think he had said that I was gonna get denied anyways.
Oh
Because
yeah, no, I wouldn't have accepted you. Fuck no, I
yeah,
already had that predetermined.
because he said, are you able to fill in? And I was like, yeah, I actually requested the day off from work, so I was like, I was gonna be free all day. I didn't have plans. And I was like, we were having some talks, and I was like, dude, I'm feeling pretty confident if I'm filling in for Cleek that we could take it to the ship. Like, playing with Sab and playing with Cam, that and Sab with this crazy like running skills that he's having all season. I was like, dude, this is gonna be a cakewalk, you know. And then he had told me that like Avenger was most likely gonna deny me anyways. So I was like,
Damn, he
damn.
said he had
So
an option lined up with Hells too, so that's kind of funny to think that he had a sub option in case Hells already made the ship, which means I wonder if he even talked to Evil about that. But he never said anything about that with you. Sorry I had to take your ship chances away.
I know, man. Just had to make the drought last a little longer, but it's all good. They're gonna use Aware, and playing with Aware this season. I definitely think he's definitely had some really good moments where he plays his role very well. Um, the This is going to be interesting because it's like with Aware, the reason why four guys on ball didn't have a dedicated fourth is because there were a lot of times where I was hot and Aware was cold and vice versa. Like we both had some really good games and both had some pretty bad games. So it was kind of up in the air, like who would be the fourth, going into like playoffs and stuff. And so, now that he's got another chance, I think what makes it interesting is that, he's European and, Sev is European. I don't know if that necessarily means that they're going to play on an EU server, but I
We
mean,
got
it did
four
happen.
observers or something as it is, so who cares?
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see how that goes. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen where it's gonna be like an EU server and they're gonna have the advantage. Because I mean, if that does happen, I'm definitely giving them that game because they're both gonna play extremely well. Um, but I don't know. That one is a really tough series to call. But I think honestly, it really depends on if Aware can hold his weight, and that's not like any bad talk. I love Matt. We've teamed before. We've won a championship together before. Like, you know, he's great. I just think that he'll admit it himself. Like there are times that he's extremely hot and extremely cold, and it really just depends on like what where you're getting that day. That's really going to depend because I mean if he's on his A game, that series definitely going to three. But I don't know. But I think they've just been. How did you guys? How did Avenger? How did you guys play against them this season?
Oh, we fucking killed him,
Really,
honestly.
you guys? You guys like went up 2-0 on them this season?
We beat him 5. If it wasn't 5-3, it was 5-2 against their starting lineup, and then 5-1 with Goosler in, I believe, like fairly quick.
Hmm. I mean, that definitely like I don't know, like that changes things, especially the way I'm looking at it. I mean, you're pretty much one of the only teams to beat them then in that case because they're walking into this series
I
15 and
wouldn't say
3.
necessarily like, as much as it's easy as like going into it, dude, like I I was watching their game film and stuff, which was like Sab's point of view. So I'm seeing it from Sab's angle. I was playing him in late league leading up to it. I was playing close attention to him, playing up against him. Same with Chemical. I've always struggled against Chemical, so I was already working on that because we had this game late in the season, kind of where we were at. They were undefeated, and we were going into this, and nobody believed in us at all. And I just remember we were like, let's put a blemish on their records. And we kind of, and KD is former teammates with Sab too, so we all knew like what we can and can't do. Like we're not going to go in there and pass on them, and that's like one of our biggest strengths. It's just not going to happen. So I think that's the game where our tanking kind of came together as a team because there was only one way out, and that was through them, and that's what we did. And to be honest, I think this one, and shout out to fucking Sev, Leak, Sab, and Chemical, but with a wear in, depending how it goes, I really think it's gonna be like 2-0 us.
Yeah, I mean it really just depends on how Ware is playing. I know my guy often gets down on himself in the middle of the game. He needs to maintain the confidence. And he needs to practice with them. I don't know. I haven't been on the last few days. So I'm not too sure if he's been playing more. But
I'm gonna fuck it
yeah,
up. I'm low key trying to get in his head and all them too. So hopefully we put him
uh,
down.
like I said, I think that series ultimately depends on like I said, like on aware of how well he's going to play. Like I said, if he plays well, then it's going to be definitely going to three. But I think if he's playing bad and you guys are just doing what you did to them before, I honestly agree with the 2-0, which
So here's the thing, you never know what's gonna happen. I thought like going against Spoon's team, it wasn't gonna be really that difficult at all. And you never know really what's gonna happen when you go against a team like that. Like you could end up getting put in the spawn, Novice could punch everybody in the face. Like that shit happens. And we got so laggy against them. And it was like a playing in a sandstorm. It was just really difficult. And Kate had so many turnovers. It was just ridiculous. And that was one of the most stressful games. And if it wasn't for like getting 3 pro runs in a row, pretty much, and one of which I feel like I wouldn't have got if it wasn't for the lag, because everybody's like, oh no, you're dead. And they're like, oh my God, you got it. I don't think we really would have won that. They
I don't
turned it
know.
over a lot too, and like I said, Kate turned it over so much. You get in a game like that where the connection doesn't work, like you said with the whole EU thing, it could definitely not go our way, and it just takes like possession. That's really all it takes, not losing the ball, and that's the best team I think that could play offense with us and defense overall. Besides Hells, I feel like gambles too much. That's the thing about them that scares me. Like they have a lot of high risks that either won't or will pay off. And Chemicals team's gonna really make you work for it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and I'm gonna say that Kim wins in 3 games, and here's why I think that. Aware definitely didn't have a good time the first half of the season. But after the trade, he said that the team, yeah, he was having a lot more fun, especially when we played the last 2 games against Ducky's team to try to make it into playoffs. He said he was having fun. He was winning, and he had a lot more confidence, I would say, towards the end of the season than the beginning of the season. Him and D-Cleek play a similar role. I think PD makes a good point. It all depends on how much intensity he comes out with. But if he played like he did at the end of the season in the playoffs, I think he'll fill in for Cleek nicely. Maybe a little bit less for the playmaking as far as passing goes, passing goals. But I feel like he can plug into that off tank well and just help support Sav and stay alive and help them push up because they've just played so well. I just feel like they can take it to a 3 game series for sure, and they have a good chance to win just like you do in 3 games. So I'll just be the opposite one and likely be wrong, but that's okay.
No, dude, I
Mhm.
don't doubt that at all. Honestly, you make me really sad because it's just one of those things you hate to hear it out loud because you already kind of knew. I really didn't want to play against either of them, but I mean, when he hits you with 3 good sub options, you kind of know like no matter who you pick, you're gonna have to fucking go through it. And it was what Aware, Grunt, and Mungo. And I'll be damned if Mungo screws up my fucking playoff chances.
But yeah, it's definitely been an eventful playoffs. Sunday, tune in early in the day. Was it 1 p.m. Eastern? It's starting 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. I think it's 1 p.m. So
Yeah, one Eastern.
it's gonna be
Okay, yeah.
broadcast. It's gonna be broadcast with Noble and Eastbrook's gonna be there actually with some Larry
Oh
commentary.
shit.
Uh,
My guy Larry.
yeah. Moving on to the next bit that we got here, I just wanted to take a moment and give a shout out to Infection for his new stat sheet that he recently got published. I know he's been working on it all season. Some really cool stats in there. If you want to look at things from a different view, I personally love the per life stat, and then also the per round stat. I think those 2 metrics are really interesting. So go find the one that has you as the highest grade and enjoy that one the most because that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the stat sheet right now. This is actually the first time like I'm opening it, and I'm like, damn, this is nerdy as fuck, but it's like so cool. Like it's
I
the
got more C's, D's, and F's than when I was in school.
I have a lot of E's. I don't know what I'm S tier in.
Got a lot of D's.
Well, you're risky, so it makes a lot of sense.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, that's something
Um,
definitely cool to check out. Always good to look at stats in a different form from different angles.
The stats just all about staying alive, right? Just fucking how many kills you get in 2 seconds plus a goal on top of it. Like you can have the game of your life and you're a C. You have the game of your life and get 1 goal on top of it. You're a fucking A.
Yeah, running and goals and punches are definitely heavily weighted to grade. That's for sure. But it makes sense. Your goal, you can't win games without goals. You can go plus 60 and still lose a game. So the goals are really important. You can get all the kills up and down the court, all the slot kills, but them plate kills, the mungo pungo kills, the ones you need, the 2 or 3 that you need right by the plate, that's what matters. So
I'm
you,
here for the cheesecake kills.
cheesecake weakness for sure. So all right, so I'm gonna move on to the next segment. This is one that I have wanted to put in, And obviously, the name was easy to pick, the No Plex Zone. After everybody says that all the time, why the fuck not? So I just wanted to have a segment where I talk about some things that I think are important, maybe get slightly real. And what I got for this time around, I'm going to try to have it every podcast. I don't know how much I'll always have to talk about. Maybe I'll keep talking about the same thing every time because who doesn't like to hear the sound of my voice? Am I right? So what I have is something I've been looking at a long time is the Discord channels that we have. And I've looked in other servers for Halo for trying to recruit and post our content and stuff like that. And some of the other servers that I've joined, like Halo HQ, Halo Customs, and all that, their channels look nice and organized and clean, and they don't have a lot of, a lot of fat in their channels. I've looked at our channels in our Discord server, and I feel like we kind of need all of them in a way. They all have a purpose, but I'm not sure. Another thing is, I know we've been trying to face a lot of change with growth that we've had and seasons that we've had, obviously. And we're seeing some small growth, obviously, and we've been mentoring a lot of new players this season because there's lots of people that were fourths and fifths, obviously, fourth and fifth rounders that have gotten to play. But I just think going into next season, we got to get the leadership together. We got to get everybody on the same page, and whether that's myself and Death and whoever else is becoming Play Grifball admins or creating our own AGLA admin role to where it's separated. I think that's really important. I think roles only serve a good purpose if they're used properly. They need to be given to people who are active, and they need to be given away by people who aren't active and let someone else get a chance at doing it because it's what we've always done. It's what has always driven the community. Also, the last point I'm going to end with is these two community members might be controversial, but they're the fucking future of our community right now, and that's A Spence and Death, and I'll tell you why. A Spence is a crazy guy, obviously, even 2.0 this season. He's eclectic. He's also the man. I mean, we wouldn't even be here without this dude right now. He got the shit together to run season 1 in the Mint Blitz server. He wanted to host it in there to try to get more players, and we did have some. That's where we got Deathcrawler from, and some others that came back. He put up cash money for a prize. He set up everything, the schedule, the stat sheet, and I know he had the other Playgriff admins that probably gave him advice and whatnot. A lot of stuff happens behind those closed admin chats and whatnot. But he did everything last season and then this season. So, huge shout out to him. Literally, we probably wouldn't even be here without him. He thinks he knows best, and that's not a bad thing with the right team under him. Thinking you know best isn't always bad because PD will tell you this later. Micromanaging isn't always a bad thing when you're running shit yourself. You can kind of control things you want. So that's why he's important. And Death is quite new. He's only been around since season 1. That was his first season that he was a captain or a player. I mean, this guy has done so fucking much in such a short time. Not just with the game type stuff too. That's been huge, obviously, and he's faced tons of criticism on that, and he's still staying steadfast. But he's come up with more innovative ideas in this past season than I have for a long time. I mean, the fucking coffee customs and the donations, the mugs and all that. That's a fucking cool idea, and he did the graphics and stuff for it and all that. So I just feel like no matter what we do in the future, these two guys are going to be the key focus, and I'll follow them into the depths of hell if that's what they want. So, all right, that's all I got to say. I'm going to shut up for a
while. Oh, dude, I like the lore. Didn't know that about Deathcrawler.
Yeah, no, that was really interesting. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with what you're saying there. I mean, dude, they've both built it this season and like their dedication. We definitely needed somebody who like actually cared about like the community to like step up, and they've definitely stepped up in a huge way. Especially Deathcrawler being such a new guy and all that good stuff, and really ironing out the game type and having just like the eagerness to learn and to try different things and stuff. It like reminds me a lot of myself, like when I was running IGL, way back when, just trying to be innovative and do new things that are exciting for the game, the community and stuff. So definitely shouts out to them. I definitely think that admin roles in the server should definitely be given to people that are active. Oftentimes I see people just kind of popping around, being, I don't know, useless with their admin roles, and like they're not even a part of our community. They don't play the game anymore, and or they're not active in any way. And it's kind of like it's it's a little bit of a like useless toxicity that we don't need. I mean, like we already have some pretty big toxicity sometimes, and it's going to be present in any community no matter where you go. But I think just like having admins and mods that are active and stuff in the community is definitely a necessity going forward.
I love our admins. Noplex is a god. Fucking Deathcrawler's dope. A Spence is pretty sick, man. When my team first scrimmed, I watched a Discord stream and he was asking how I was and saying he hoped I felt good and shit. And I thought that was pretty cool. That was when I was in the hospital, so I felt really, really good about that. And I've really liked him since. And Mav's pretty dope. He's been cool. One thing I'll say that I hate though about Spence and Mav is I hate the whole forfeit situation that had to go through. I feel like that was a pretty dumb thing. And I guess Mav has to take the L because he delivered it to me, and Spence has to be a part of it because he was on the team. But he claimed to defend it. I guess it was villain Ducky arc. I just hate forfeits.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that they haven't, but I believe that a team should be able to follow the rules to a T and not be, burned at the stake for it. Because I mean, rules are rules, and if we don't follow them, what A Spencer's trying to set up is pointless. I think touching back on Mav, I've talked about a lot about A Spencer and death because of my segment, but Mav was huge for the season. He set up a lot of the stuff that we had for planning, and he had the sign up sheet. He did that, and he did a lot of other stuff. And I know he's been a little more busier now, but I know he's been still active in the chat and voting when need be and stuff like that. So he's still been around. He's just got busy with work and stuff like that. But definitely shout out to him too. He's done he was definitely integral in our season being successful and getting the timeline going and whatnot. So
Shout out to Grandpa for being there for us when we needed him most.
yeah, I mean they wanted me to. I really didn't want to become an admin, but they seemed like it'd be a good idea, and I could maybe just give a lot of advice mostly and do my thing. But I am not good as a technical admin. I have my strengths that I know I'm good at, and I just want to do that stuff. So as long as we have an admin team with someone who's willing to do that, then I'm fine with just doing what I do because I know what I'm good at and I know what I suck at. So I'm
Dude,
just
you
gonna.
literally saved my season.
I did.
Yeah, dude, I got Hydro Kids.
Yeah, he was a big question mark going in. He's always been, Hyde, but I've always found him to be pretty cordial with me. Maybe it's how I approach him or what not. I don't know. I've always thought he was pretty level in a way. I mean, I remember when he was new and he went right into pro, right into bid league in Halo 4. And he didn't go into AMI. He jumped right into pro. He was on Genji's team the first season. He didn't get to play a lot, but he jumped right into the pro scene. So it's definitely good to see him playing well for sure. So yeah, so I guess now is the best part of the show, obviously, is outro and shout outs. So I'm going to go ahead and go first, and then y'all can shout out whoever you would like. Okay, the first thing that I got here EU players. What the fuck? Y'all are just some kings, man. How? How? I ain't even staying up past fucking 10 p.m. to play games. And y'all stay up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning to stay up. And where he stayed up to just be in our team chat, PD, one time. He wasn't even playing. He was there in the team chat, just there to support us. Like, man, I would have been way in fucking bed. So, shout out to EU players. Shout out to the captains. Captaining is a tough and stressful job, juggling the babysitting and the drama with other people and all that, setting up scrims and game times with your team and dealing with stuff that comes up. Captaining is a pretty shit job for the most part, or what it's made out to be. Um, Shout out to Digital Pain for his work that he continues to do on the bot for late league and for playing this season. I know him and Death are pretty close and have been working on the game type together. So shout out to Didge, and then I already gave Death a shout out, so him again. Thank you for being Death Baller. You the man. Shout out to Pop Tart for everything that he's done. All the late league and the late league circuit that we've had coming up to this. Pop Tart is a cornerstone of our community. He's a very sexy man. Shout out to Necessary Evil for all the content he's been pumping out all season. This man has been with it. Like I've been pitching him ideas. He's been running stuff by me. He has been carrying with the content. It's a small thing that makes a big difference. Everybody wants to hear and read about themselves. And then special shout out here to Epic Beast because he was just at Halo World Championship, and he was there as an active presence for Play Grifball, and he even passed out some stickers of his that he had, the Play Grifball stickers and his Mr. Epic Beast logo. So shout out to him for doing some outreach, and then of course, most of all, give a shout out to A Spence for being the reason that we have our community and league right now. And I swear to fucking God, this is the last shout out that I have. But special fucking shout out to Majestic Kittens. This man was a 5th round draft pick. 5th round draft pick, and he played every game this season. They might have only won 2 games, but he played every game. He showed up, and he played. And he played all through the offseason with late league, through the circuits and all that. That man is on the grind. And he just survived a hurricane, too. So there's that. So, yeah. Majestic.
You want to do your shout outs, Evinder?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying the cat survived.
Oh, I didn't hear what word you said.
I didn't either. It sounds like we're heartless motherfuckers.
We hate everybody.
As far as I can tell, it did a lot of damage, but it kind of broke apart, I feel like, maybe, when it hit shore. So it was obviously intense in some places because it was a huge storm. But, I mean, as far as I know, I haven't heard any bad news, so that must mean good news.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Like Tropicana Field, like the whole roof ripped off like the other day. So it's definitely been rough. Shout out to Squirrel. Oh yeah, shout out to Squirrel too, because he couldn't even play in like the final games of the season, to my knowledge, because of that. Because his house was like flooding.
Oh shit!
So I think he's been good. He's been like active in like Discord and stuff. Like I'm in another Discord with just like me, him, and Cosmos, and Bank, all that. And I mean, it seems like he's been doing all right, which is always good to hear. But yeah, shout out to Zim for not giving up, because I know every damn game this dude like would sound like he was hating his life, because we had to pull him off of 7 days to come play, or even to play scrims. This dude lives on 7 days. But yeah, no, for real, like shout out. Thank you for picking me up, and we did really good this season. I mean, the fact that we even made the playoffs was definitely a huge W for us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, shout out to Gingy and Doplex, because we definitely got there with the chemistry. Like we've all known each other for 10 plus years, so I definitely think that helped a lot. And we had a lot of jokes in the small time that we were teaming. So but yeah, shout out to everybody on my team. Aware for being a good sport, and holding it together. When I was playing like shit. And but yeah, ready for next season. Let's get this W going next season.
You're gonna be a baller next season.
Please let me go Hammy. No, it'll never. I don't think it'll ever happen.
Did you have a low CCV?
The last time I think I captained, I think I had the second lowest CCV, and I got screwed so hard that I had like the worst team in the league. So I don't know.
Just don't pick up Boss Tycoon.
That's the thing. I didn't.
All right. To show you how far this podcast has been put off, I want to give a special shout out to Lobby 2 that was ran the night of the very first combine way back when. And everybody in that lobby, that was Katie Skill, JC, J Bomb, Blood and Nick, Spank, Mungo Pungo, Shrek, Ducky, Ace, Novice, Mav, Mari, Hells, Ganked, Dylan, Chemical, Fancy, and myself. And PD Rover, you're like, he just added himself.
I was like, damn, bro, he's gonna list the whole roster, the whole fucking season, bro.
Dude listed the whole league.
Oh, and on top
Shout
of
out
that,
to
let
the
me give a
league.
special shout out to my team. That would be Hi Joe O Kids, honorary sub Hungo Pungo, J Bomb, and Solace. Solace, I wanted to say thank you so much for believing in us as much as you can and balling out. And on top of that, Katie's skill, I didn't forget. I'm just a little out of it. But shout out to you. And if you don't get runner of the season, then we're tearing down the whole establishment.
It's rigged if she doesn't. Very rigged.
Oh man.
But yeah, that made me think of someone else to talk about. Obviously, big shout out to Squirrel as well for sticking with it. I'm glad that Shrek brought in Cosmos. Now Cosmos brought in Squirrel. So who's Squirrel going to bring in next season? Nah, I'm just kidding. Mostly joking. But you know, if our community had 20 more Cosmos, we'd be all right, man. We'd be all right.
Yeah, shout out to Cosmos.
Fucking cool ass dude right there. But yeah, but that's all we have for this edition of the podcast. Thank you, PD, for coming on and being our co-host, and thank you even more, Avenger, for being patient and making sure we got this recorded. I told you we are going to get this motherfucker recorded one way or another. So
I'm just happy the internet stayed on.
Yeah, most definitely.
It was almost another day.
Well, until next time, thank you for listening to the podcast, and see you on the court.